Hello once again, Mustang football fans, and welcome to another edition of the Cory Sauter Show here at Studio One, Marshall Local Cable Access, and online at SMSUmustangs.com. I'm Kelly Loft, Athletic Communications Director at SMSU, and your host for the show. This week, we're going to look back at the Mustangs' heartbreaking loss to Bemidji State University. The Mustangs lose 41-40 to the Beavers, but the Mustangs will look to bounce back this Saturday for homecoming, taking on the University of Sioux Falls at the Schwann Regional Event Center. And as I mentioned, the Mustangs losing a tough one this past Saturday in Bemidji. SMSU 41-40, the setback, a field goal with 48 seconds to go by the BSU kicker. Zach Polkening was the difference, and the Mustangs come up a little bit short, trying to snap a long losing streak to the Beavers. It could not happen, and SMSU now 2-2 on the season. And Coach, there's lots to talk about in this ball game. We'll take a look at the highlights later on here in the show, but overall, the way the Beavers have dominated us over the past 15 years or so, you would look, boy, we were right there, a chance to win the game. So is that a heading in the right direction type thing? But you look back, and that was a game that I think most of us, and probably 99% of the time, we're going to win that game. And Beavers, give them credit. They made some plays down the stretch, but that's a tough one to swallow on Saturday afternoon.
It definitely is a tough one to swallow. Since I've been here, probably one of the harder ones because, we really had a great opportunity to win the game. And, you're not going to have too many ball games where you start out down 13-0 and have within the same ball game have a 11-point lead in the same ball game, and so there's a lot of motion that went through that ball game. We were really one play away from winning it, and when you're +3 on the turnover ratio, when you have more explosive plays in special teams, and when you have over 120 yards of offense, more than your opponent, and you put those things together on paper, that should be a victory. And we all know that we don't play games on a stat sheet. It's on the field, and you have to give them a lot of credit because they hung in there and they found a way to win it with down to the last play. And it's a tough one to swallow. And the big thing for us is going to be how well are we going to bounce back? So that'll be a big challenge for us this week.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the Mustangs opening up the game, kickoff, BSU returns it about 70-plus yards. They get a short field. They convert a third down conversion. They score a touchdown. You have to punt. You get a turnover. Can't take advantage of it, but you get a great punt down to the 1-yard line. And again, the Beavers convert a third down. They were 5 of 8 in third down conversions in the first half. They pick up a third down, extends their drive, and then they get a screen, and boom, it's 13-0, you're down. And that's what you're talking about within 5-6 minutes of the game. But able to come back and get a touchdown, and like you mentioned, just great to see the guys bounce back and take that lead in the first half still.
Yeah, well, when you play on the road, you want to start out on a great note, and we didn't do that. They were able to get a big return. That was really their only big play in special teams, was that big return to open the game. After that, we had them hemmed up pretty well, but they were able to get up on us early. Probably the best thing that could have happened was that scoreboard went out and we couldn't look at the scoreboard because we were down so fast so early. Guys really weren't looking at that. It didn't have the ability to look at a scoreboard, and we just kept plugging away and were able to get that first one in the end zone and then work from there.
Well, of course, as you just mentioned, Coach, and I was going to talk about it, for whatever reason, the scoreboard went out the night prior. They couldn't fix it in time, so you have no clock, no score on the scoreboard. The officials keeping it by hand, the back judge, and it's raining again. It was just like Moorhead the week or 2 weeks prior, maybe not as hard. And the field, obviously turf, so that made a big difference. But talk about just how difficult it was not having the clock, just from the fact the play clock worked, but did they communicate with you much with the clock, or was it just pretty much every few minutes they let you know?
Well, really, the only time it really matters is the end of the half and the end of the game, and so their back judge kept the clock. He was the official clock guy, and we had a coach or two that would constantly request how much time was left. But once you get inside 2 minutes of a half, I mean, you really are not going to know exactly how much time you have. As much as you can do, it's just not possible. It's something that you don't prepare for. I mean, it's not something you do in practice, prepare without a clock. And so it was, the the first time through it. And that first half, I thought it affected a little bit because it affects play calling, it affects guys getting out of bounds or spiking the ball, and you have an idea how much time there is, but you really don't know. And it was unique, that's for sure. And that was in my opinion made an impact. It didn't determine the ball game, but it definitely was something that I thought influenced some of our decisions. And so we were unable to put any points right before the half. That was the tough part. We thought we had a few more seconds, or at least could take a shot or kick a field goal of some sort. And then at the end of the game, we're in a tough situation anyway, so it really didn't matter there. But it's a unique situation. The 40-second clock was an issue just because of the style of offense that we play. But definitely, it makes a difference, that's for sure.
Well, again, the Mustangs, as you mentioned, fell behind 13-0. They get a touchdown. Jordan Cross, a touchdown reception from Charlie Kern. BSU comes back. It's a pick six. You're down 20-7, Coach, but you come back in the second quarter. A couple of nice touchdown runs by Tyler Tondrum. Took advantage of a turnover by the Beavers. You go down, score. Big run again by Tondrum. And this is against a defense that very good. The last 2.5 games, the Beavers have really given up only a handful of touchdowns to their opponents on the defensive side. And you really took it to them there and put up over 500 yards in the game.
Sure didn't feel like we had 500 yards. I mean, it was, gain a yard, gain 2 yards, maybe gain 3 yards, and then all of a sudden Tondrum runs 70 yards, and so it was just one of those types of days where, they were as good as advertised. I mean, I wouldn't want to play them again this year as far as their defense. They're very good. They challenged us and made things difficult. And but we were able to make enough big plays. We took some shots. We threw the ball down the field from time to time, and our running backs were able to hit a crease and create some bigger plays. But it wasn't as if we were on rhythm and going down the field at will. It certainly didn't feel that way. And we were very fortunate to put up 30-plus points offensively and be able to move the ball at all, because they're pretty good. I still believe that, and they're going to have a great season.
Yeah, some of the numbers for the Mustangs I mentioned were 500 yards of offense, fourth straight game now the Mustangs have had 400-plus yards of total offense. Tyler Tondrum, another big game rushing for the Mustangs, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. He is now number 2 in the country in rushing average this year in the Division II. Jordan Cross, 5 catches, 50 yards. Anthony Dean, 4 catches for 99 yards. Charlie Kern, 17 of 42, 241, and 2 touchdowns. And Coach, we talked about the weather. Again, it probably made a factor in our passing game, and obviously the Beavers very good, but that completion percentage probably far below what Charlie's used to and what you really want to be successful to win a game.
Right. We like to be in that 60 to 70% completion percentage, and we weren't anywhere near that. Part of that was we missed a few throws, but also I thought defensively they weren't giving us much. I mean, they weren't giving us those easy throws. They weren't giving us easy screen throws. They took a lot away, and so we had to, it was more of a shot mentality. We had to take deeper throws down the field, take a few more risks. So with that, your percentage is going to go down. And but we did complete a good share of them. We just needed to complete maybe 1 or 2 more, and that would have made a big difference.
Well, again, the Mustangs then gave up a touchdown late in the first half, so you trailed at halftime 26-21. Start the second half, both teams exchange punts. Mustangs get a field goal to trim the deficit to 2, and then you get a big interception return for a touchdown by McCoy Rodning, and that gives you the lead. And another turnover by the Beavers, recovering by Jared Tweet, and you score right away. More importantly, you get another 3 and out by the Beavers, and then you guys get some first downs and go into the fourth quarter at their 30-yard line. And I know a lot of us thinking, boy, we put a touchdown here, this thing's over. Beavers make a stop, and then things kind of turn around there. But a big third quarter by your squad, and that's why it was a team game, because defense came through and got some turnovers. And as you said, a +3 usually spells a win, but nonetheless a very good effort by the squad and to put that offense in a good situation.
Right. Well, our defense has really been scrapping this season. I mean, they've been able to get some turnovers for our offense, and that's why we've been able to, have more plays, score more points, be in the plus side of things on turnovers. That's why you win ball games, and they definitely put us in position to win this one. We needed to capitalize on one of those turnovers. We got down to the 20, we got down to the 30, but we weren't able to, finish the drive, and that was the most disappointing thing from our offense. Is typically when we get down our opponent's 30-yard line, we're able to do some things with it, and you've got to give them credit. They stopped us when the game was on the line. At the end, it was a 3rd and 3. We ended up running the football at that point, really to try to get the first down. But if we didn't, we had the ball centered for our field goal to go up by 2 points at that point, which worked out. Lance kicked the field goal to put us with the lead, and then then they had the drive. The drive at the end of the game where we had ample opportunities to get a stop. We had a penalty, a personal foul type thing out of bounds, and then a big 3rd down conversion, which, typically you're going to make that play. As thrown into double coverage, one guy goes up, 2 guys are there. A lot of times that's not going to get completed, and the kid hung on to the football, and they're able to end up kicking a field goal, which wasn't a gimme either. It was a 37-yarder against the wind in the rain, and they made it, I think, just barely made it, just inside the left upright. So it was a battle. We were one play away, and it just goes to show you never know which play that's going to be, and we're on the losing end, and that's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, no question about that. So many different plays, and we'll see the highlights here in a couple of minutes. But as you mentioned, the Beavers score a couple of touchdowns in that 4th quarter. You go down a few points, but an impressive drive setting up that field goal, and we'll see some of the plays, but some very great catches by Will Kirka and Jordan Cross that helped set that up, and it looked like you'd maybe get a touchdown to go ahead, but it sets up, it just shows that, even falling behind, the guy stuck in there and thought, you know what? The momentum's not on our side, but let's go down and get some points, and the guys did that.
Yeah, no. One thing this season that we've been able to do is just be a resilient group. If we're down by a touchdown or 2, it hasn't affected the way we've played. We just kind of keep plugging away. We keep playing. No one's down. Everyone's hungry to still win it. We all know that we can score in a hurry at times, and but on the flip end, we're struggling when we have the lead. We've seen that against Minot, and we've seen that this week is where you're up by 11 points going in that 4th quarter. You got to win those things. I mean, you have to find a way to close it out, and that's really in all phases. Defensively, getting a critical stop, offensively, being able to score in the red zone. I mean, it's a mentality. If you have a team down, you've got to continue to put the pressure on them, and really don't change the way you play. It's just keep being aggressive, keep doing the things that got you to that 11-point lead.
Yeah, tough one for sure. Mustangs lose 41-40. There were lots of highlights from the game up at Chet Anderson Stadium, and we're going to take a look at those highlights. We start off here in the first half. The Mustangs and the Beavers. BSU scores an opening drive touchdown, but A.J. Page gets in there and blocks the PAT attempt.
Yeah, this is a big block. He gets in between the snapper and the right guard, and he's got those big, long arms up inside. And I tell you what, great way for us to rebound after giving up a touchdown, kind of take the wind out of their sails by blocking the extra point.
Mustangs trail 6-0, and we go at Deshaun Miller, picks up the ball and tries to rumble for 2 points, but gets knocked down. Big play here for the Mustangs on 2nd down near midfield. Kern, plenty of time, fires a pass to Anthony Dean.
Yep, and TJ's a kid with a lot of speed, so they gave him a pretty good cushion on that play. That corner's playing off, and we get great protection. We make a great throw. He splits the defenders and gets up the field, but it all starts with protection, and it's just great hustle, too, at the end with Wickett.
Mustangs cap the drive with a touchdown to Cross.
Yeah, we've got a play-action slant here. Jordan ends up crossing the defender's face, and Kern sticks it right on him, and great way to respond.
Mustangs force a fumble. Tate Bunkers knocks it away. Deshaun Miller recovers.
Yep, Bunkers flies down from his safety position. Deshaun ends up missing the tackle, but he doesn't give up on the play and continues to pursue and ends up getting the fumble.
Mustangs back on offense. Here's Kern to Anthony Dean.
You can see here, Bemidji brought an extra rusher, an extra defender on the blitz, and under heavy pressure. Dean has made these types of catches all year, and really his whole career, going up over defender, and that was a big play for us.
And then Tyler Tondam comes across, scores the touchdown. Mustangs trail 20-14.
Yeah, we leave the backer unblocked. That wasn't by design, but Tondam makes a miss, and we ended up scoring.
A tackle for loss for J.J. Bobowitz. Great read and a tackle for loss by number 56.
Yeah, we timed up the blitz really well, and almost creates a fumble here as well. I mean, he's in the backfield in a hurry and disrupts their run play.
Mustangs get a punt, and they take the lead. Tondam, 77-yard run.
Yeah, it almost feels like he has one of these a game, and once he gets to the outside, there's not a whole lot of guys that can catch him. Just a great burst of speed. Again, wasn't blocked perfectly, but he was able to bounce it and get to the perimeter, and off he goes.
Mustangs have the lead. At that point, 21-20. Here's a tackle for loss. McCoy Rodning fighting off some blocks, and big stop on first down.
Yeah, you can see him flowing from the backside of the defense. Just great pursuit, keeping his lane, and ended up getting a nice tackle.
So the Mustangs trail at the half, 26-21, as BSU went down and scored late in the half to take that lead with 1:51 to go. And so you go to halftime, Coach, and feeling, hey, you're back into the football game. Look on defensively, and we don't know all the final answers yet, but you had a couple guys had to step in. We had some injuries to a couple of starters, and McCoy Rodney there with the tackle. We'll see him later on. Good to see some guys step up, some of those younger guys, because if somebody gets hurt, somebody's got to fill in, and they did a nice job.
Yep, no, those guys did, especially on defense. Getting guys some snaps is critical. That's why we practice. That's why we try to get as many guys in the ball game, because you just never know. You can't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, and if that guy goes down, then our season's done. That's the last thing we want to do. So our backups are just as valuable as our starters. And that first half, we didn't play extremely well. We got off to a very, very poor start. And despite all of that, we were able to at least keep it a ball game, keep it within 5, and we felt good about that going into halftime, knowing that we're playing a pretty good team on the road, and we also were going to get the ball right away in the second half. So we felt good about those sorts of things, but when you play a good team, you can't have a slow start. You just can't afford to do that. And but guys responded, and we ended up coming out the second half playing pretty well as a whole.
Yeah, the Mustangs, again, started off the second half, got the ball first, had to punt, but BSU got the ball, and Southwest defense held strong. BSU 5 of 8 on third downs in that first half, but converted just a couple of third downs in the second half, and that led to a very explosive third quarter for the Mustangs. And let's take a look at the second half highlights, and we start off here by a sack by A.J. Page.
Yeah, A.J.'s playing as well as probably any defensive lineman in the Northern Sun. He was our defensive player of the week. Here he gets a sack, but they were double and triple teaming him all day.
Big run by Tyler Tondam, breaking away, and you get 2 runs of over 100 yards, a 77-yarder and a 44-yarder. That sets up a good opportunity here to get back in the lead.
Right, and Tondram's playing just as well as any running back running back in our conference, and he definitely made his share of plays.
Unfortunately, as you talked about in the red zone, Mustangs not able to score a touchdown, but Lance boots a 31-yarder to get down to a 2-point deficit.
Right, and field goals on these games are critical. You need the points, and we're able to knock it through.
Mustangs answer back, take the lead. McCoy Rodning, interception return for a touchdown.
Yeah, we've got zone coverage here. McCoy does a nice job reading the quarterback's eyes, steps in front of the defender, and actually catches the football. That's a hard ball to catch because it's coming with pretty good velocity.
Mustangs in the lead. They've got the momentum. 2 plays later, Jared Tweet recovers his fumble forced by Andrew McReynolds.
Yeah, nice hit by McReynolds, and you can see the pursuit and effort, just running to the football. Good things happen, and I tell you what, we have a lot of momentum going for us at this point.
So 1 play later, the Mustangs add to the lead, 37-26. Kern, under pressure, finds a wide-open Dean.
Yeah, we don't have great protection on this one, but I tell you what, Kern gets this ball off. I'm not sure how. He gets it up and out, and Dean had the defender turn around and ended up getting a nice touchdown.
Mustangs get a stop on their next possession as McReynolds knocks away the pass.
All right, almost an interception here, and we've been playing pretty good defense on third down, and another example of that.
Mustangs late in the third quarter. This is when it looked like things are going in great direction for the Mustangs. Caleb Burns, a big run.
Yep, multi-purpose back. We had to give Tandy a breather from time to time, and those backs come in and do a nice job when Tondrum isn't in the ball game.
Unfortunately, the Mustangs can't score, and then they trail. Big pass here. Mustangs trailing in the fourth quarter, but what a catch by Will Kirka.
Yeah, it sure was. And, Kern does a nice job here avoiding a sack and getting the ball out, putting the ball up where he can go up and make a play. And, Kirka just made a spectacular catch.
Moments later, Kern to cross for a 23-yarder.
Tight coverage. I mean, this is a tough catch, and we probably should be going somewhere else with the ball. But he comes up with it and, sets us up.
This gives the Mustangs a chance to kick the field goal. Schuweiler drills it, 33-yarder, SMSU ahead.
Yeah, this is a clutch kick, puts us up and, drills it down the middle of the field.
Here's a sack here later on in the contest, the Mustangs by J.J. Bobowitz.
Yep, Bunkers flushes the QB, and then Bobham's there to wrap him up.
And that, unfortunately, it was close. It brings up a third down. But the Beavers were able to convert it. The next play, a big third down conversion that kept the drive alive, and they get the ball down inside the Mustangs' 30-yard line, setting up the field goal, and they make it with just under 50 seconds to go. Mustangs lose 41-40 to Bemidji State University. The Beavers are now 2-2 overall, and the Mustangs at 2-2 as well. And you mentioned throughout the highlights, Coach, about a couple of guys really playing at a high level. And on the defensive side, A.J. Page doing things, just causing a lot of issues for the opponents, their offense, and he's up there in tackles for loss in the top 20 in the country. And really, you knew he had this ability in the last few years, and he's really breakout this year as one of the top defensive ends in the conference.
Yeah, he's had a nice progression in his career because when he first started out here at Southwest, he was on the scout team, and was our scout player of the year, and we had trouble with him. Even when he was a true freshman trying to block him. And so we knew he had some ability. He progressed. He got a little bit better last year. He was a little bit dinged up. He had some injuries and things that kind of prevented him from being the player we thought he could be. And he has really stepped his game up. And, very few times are you going to be able to block him one-on-one, right? They're going to take two guys, maybe sometimes three guys to try to stop his pass rush ability. And I tell you what, I wouldn't trade him for anybody. We really, he's a special kid.
Yep, and of course on the offensive side, Tondrum, another big day for the Mustangs. As he's at over 100 yards, 3 straight games. He's got a 300-yard game, a 200-yard game, a 100-yard game. I can only expect a 400-yard game this Saturday, jokingly, but doing a very good job in the offensive line, giving him obviously blocking lanes, and he's making some plays. And unfortunately, the Mustangs just weren't able to get over the hump on Saturday, losing to the Beavers. But as you mentioned, Coach, early on in the show, it's about how we react. And this Saturday, a great opportunity, going to be a great night, great crowd. Got a lot of alums. I know people are excited about watching this football team because of the competitiveness and getting some big wins, and it's a great challenge. USF's a very good team, a team that won 9 games last season. It was a very competitive contest in Sioux Falls. Last year we lost to the Cougars, but talk about the challenge up ahead here for the Cougars. Obviously, we'll talk about what they could do personnel-wise, but as you mentioned, starting up early in the week, Monday, Tuesday, it's all probably more so how are you guys going to react coming out of that locker room, getting ready for practice this week?
Yeah, no, that was kind of one of the main things, even in Bemidji when we got done with the football game was, there's really 2 directions we can go, after this game. We can tank it, or we can take it and use it as fuel to get better. And I think there's a consensus feeling that we want the latter of the two, and we want to get better. We want the challenge of playing Sioux Falls on homecoming, and I think our guys will be ready. I mean, I really do. They're a resilient group. They're very they believe in what we're doing, and you can tell by the way we're playing. I mean, we're a very capable ball club. We should, literally could be 3-1 right now as we speak, and so it shouldn't change the way we play. I mean, we have got to be mentally strong. That's easier said than done. I know it took me a day or two to get over this last ball game, but guess what? The season continues. You got to go on, and you got a game plan. And as you were speaking about 400 yards rushing, Sioux Falls had over 400 yards rushing. So we've got plenty of things we've got to take care of. I think we'll get past this last game just because we have other things to think about. And so that's the challenge at hand, but it's definitely going to be fun playing at home. Homecoming, the atmosphere has been great so far, and we hope everyone comes out and supports us.
Yeah, it should be fun. 6 o'clock the start time at the Schwann Regional Event Center. Sioux Falls this year is 2-2. They've lost a couple of games on the road, losing at Minnesota Duluth and University of Mary, but they have home wins against Northern State and, as we mentioned, against Minnesota Crookston this past Saturday as well. So it should be a fun night at the stadium. 6 o'clock kickoff, SMSU and USF, and we should mention it's also the first divisional game. Now as we head on to the next 7 games against all foes from the NSIC South Division. So it should be a fun one. Lots to play for again this Saturday night, 6 o'clock against USF, a team that went 9-2 last season. So it should be a great game for the Mustangs to get one here this Saturday against the Cougars. Coach, thanks for stopping by as always. And special thanks to you for watching this week's episode of the Cory Sauter Show. For Coach Sauter, I'm Kelly Loft. Thanks for watching. Until next time, go Mustangs.